So remember our discussion up until now. We've basically been talking about the opposition. You could say the battle. It's an internal battle. It's not a battle you have with anyone else. It's a battle you have with yourself. Right? This internal battle between truth and error that occurs. Now, of course, on a larger scale, there is a battle between truth and error as well. There is good in the universe, and there is evil in the universe too, created by humans, the evil. But there's a battle there going on between good and evil. It's the same battle between truth and error. Right? So these battles occur, and for the most part, most people, once they're on earth, are usually well entrenched in the battle. And then when they pass, often the battle continues, and this is why people remain in the hells of the spirit world, which is the first sphere of the spirit world. And the battle continues for a while until they work through issues. And then once they start working through issues, they give up the battle to a degree, and then they start progressing. So the key for us is to give up the battle as soon as we can. To give up the battle as soon as we can. Now, the methods we use are going to have to be dealt with in order to give up the battle. These are emotional methods. They are things we feel inside of us, and while we feel those things, the battle will remain. Right? So we're going to have to learn how to process through these kind of things emotionally. We're going to have to let them go emotionally. And for many of us, we've got some very deep reasons why we do these things. So even just things like habits, sometimes they are so entrenched in us, and we don't really understand why, but once you start trying to work on the habit, you start exposing, oh, wow, this habit has come from this feeling that I need of comfort from something or something like that. So you start realising, oh, there's a lot more to this little thing I do than what I realised. Right? And this is why when we talk about the little things, like drinking a cup of coffee is a little thing, right? In comparison to how you treat your brothers and sisters, your other people on earth. Obviously, how you treat other people on earth is much more important than you drinking a cup of coffee, right? So when people make drinking or eating things more important than how they treat people, they've got things out of perspective. Remember, we talked about perspective yesterday, right? A part of the perspective is there is a hierarchy of, you could say a hierarchy of things that God desires for you to treat in a loving manner. Of course, the highest thing is God. God is the person that designed the universe, created it for you, created the playground, and eventually all people in the spirit world eventually learn to have some respect for God. Atheists who stay in the sixth sphere sooner or later stop becoming atheists. Right? Religious people in the sixth sphere who believe in God, well, they often remain believing in God, but modifying their religion to suit what they've now learned. Right? But everyone, whether they have a relationship with God or just a belief in God, because there's many people in the sixth sphere who have belief in God but no relationship with God, whether you have belief or relationship with God, at the end of the day, you're going to have to give up the fight. And for most people, that fight is pretty long. We talked to some spirits while we were in Belgium, Charles and, I keep saying Gerald, Charles and Annette, and they'd been in the spirit world for 600 years, about 550 years, I think it was, or something like that. For both of them, it was 120 years plus that they stayed in the fight before they started to give up the fight. And what I'm recommending to you guys is to not do that, to give up the fight earlier. On earth, preferably, because if you can do it on earth, you can do it anywhere.